All right, welcome back. So last time, we dove into this wild idea that the Great Pyramids weren't tombs, but actually these massive wireless energy receivers. Well, today, we're jumping right back into that source material to tackle the next logical and, let's be honest, the biggest question of all.
And here it is, right? I mean, this is the big one. If the pyramids were just giant receivers, then what in the world was doing the transmitting? This single question? Wow. It just opens up this incredible rabbit hole of speculative science where you see ancient mysteries and seriously futuristic tech start to collide. Okay, so let's get into our first hypothesis. This one tells us to look up, way up. It explores this idea of a proto-space-based solar power system. And what's so wild about this is that it's basically proposing that an ancient civilization had a version of technology that we, right now, are trying to develop.
So, what are we talking about here? Well, the source material lays out a couple of possibilities. First, you've got the idea of ancient, man-made satellites zipping around in orbit, just soaking up sunlight and beaming it down. But the second theory, it's even more advanced. It talks about these huge power stations parked at what are called Lagrange points. You know, these are those super unique, kind of magical spots in space where the gravity from the Earth and the Sun basically cancel each other out. So you can just park something there and it'll stay put. Pretty amazing, right? And this is where you can really see the direct parallel. It's almost a one-for-one comparison. So, in this model, you've got the orbital station acting as the transmitter. That's our modern space-based solar power satellite. And then you have the Great Pyramid as the receiver, which in today's terms we'd call a rectenna. That's just a fancy name for an antenna that's designed to catch microwave energy and turn it back into usable electricity. The function is literally identical: wireless power from space.
Okay, but this is where the whole theory just gets so cool, because it completely changes how we think about why the pyramids are where they are. Suddenly, their layout all around the globe, it's not random. Their specific locations, their famous alignment with constellations like Orion, you know, a constellation with those super bright, easy-to-track stars. What if that wasn't for religious or ceremonial reasons? What if it was technical? A global grid of what the source calls resonance anchors, all perfectly designed to lock onto those transmitters in the sky.
All right, so that's the space-based theory. But now let's pivot to the next hypothesis, which pretty much flips that whole idea on its head. This theory says, hey, maybe we're looking in the wrong direction completely. What if the transmitter wasn't some man-made thing up in space? What if it was something much, much closer and maybe infinitely more powerful? What if it was the Earth itself?
And this whole idea, it's actually grounded in a real, measurable scientific phenomenon. It's called the Schumann resonance. The easiest way to think about it is like the planet's natural heartbeat. There's this constant super low frequency hum, right around 7.83 hertz, that's always present in the space between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere. And it's all generated by the thousands of lightning strikes that are happening every single second across the globe.
So you can see the huge shift in thinking between these two models, right? In that first one, the artificial transmitter model, the pyramid is just a passive target, waiting for a beam. But in this natural resonance model, its role completely changes. It becomes an active antenna, a piece of tech precision engineered to tune into this global frequency, to literally tap into and draw energy from the Earth's own atmospheric electrical circuit. I love this quote from the source material. It says, "The pyramid was an antenna tuned to the very breathing of the Earth, drawing energy from the planet's own resonant field." I mean, how poetic is that? It just captures the elegance of the whole concept. And, you know, it's a vision that's incredibly close to what Nikola Tesla himself dreamed of, a global wireless power system fueled by the planet itself. Okay, so we've looked to space, we've looked to the Earth, but if you thought those first two theories were a little mind-bending, you're going to want to buckle up. Because this third and honestly most audacious hypothesis from our source material, it doesn't just look to the sky or to the ground, it looks at our closest celestial neighbor, the Moon. Yeah, this is the absolute core of this final theory. It asks us to consider something pretty radical. You know how the Moon's orbit is so incredibly precise? How its size, when we look at it from Earth, perfectly blocks out the sun during an eclipse? This theory says, what if those aren't just happy cosmic coincidences? What if the Moon isn't entirely natural? What if it was artificially placed, designed to be a resonant stabilizer for Earth's own energy field? So according to this theory, the Moon was doing a lot more than just lighting up the night sky. It was supposedly playing several key roles. First, it was the external oscillator. Basically, it generated the main energy wave, the carrier signal for Earth.
Then, the far side of the moon, the side we never ever see, could have been acting as a gigantic transmission dish, maybe even helped by huge hollow structures inside. And those lunar cycles we all know, full moon, new moon, they weren't just for calendars. They were a power schedule, dictating when and how much energy was being pulsed towards Earth.
So let's just walk through how this whole system would work. Think of the moon as this giant cosmic relay station. Step 1. Its surface collects just an unbelievable amount of solar energy. Step 2. These theorized hollow cavities inside the moon convert and amplify that energy. Step 3. The far side of the moon then beams that concentrated energy down towards Earth. And finally, Step 4. The pyramid network on the ground receives the energy and then channels it into the planet's own telluric currents. Those are natural electrical currents that flow right through the Earth's crust, distributing the power all over the globe. It's a stunningly complete model, even if it is, highly speculative.
So where does all this leave us? I mean, we've looked at orbital transmitters, the Earth's own hum, the moon is a powerhouse. When you start to piece all these ideas from the source material together, you don't just get separate theories anymore. You get this truly grand, unified vision of a technology that's been completely lost to time.
And this is what the source material calls it, the Lunar Resonance Network, a complete cosmic-scale energy system. In this grand vision, the moon isn't just a passive rock reflecting sunlight, it's an active modulator of solar energy, precisely transmitting that power to a sophisticated grid of receivers here on Earth, a grid that we now just call pyramids.
And that leaves us with one, just profound final thought. It forces you to look at everything, the ancient world, our own sky, in a totally new way. What if all those old myths about gods coming from the heavens, what if they weren't just stories? What if they were faded memories of a time when humanity was plugged in to a cosmic power source? The question then becomes so much bigger. It's not just what were the pyramids, it's are we living among the ruins of a forgotten cosmic scale energy network? Are we a civilization that once held the keys to the universe and somehow just lost them?